here we are. This is Sex Love Psychedelics, and I'm your host, Dr. Kat. Bringing you psychosexual conversations that will leave you intellectually turned on and hungry for more.
Yeah. Can you remember some of your first sexual experiences where you were like, this is a thing? I'm good. Like, what was that like for you?
Let's see, I'll trip through a few of them quickly and kind of list them off, and you can dive where you want to dive.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I felt a man's body who was athletic. He was a bicyclist. I've got a thing for bicyclists, and he used to shave his legs because it made him faster. And I remember feeling my skin on his skin and the smooth hardness of his body, and how beautiful that felt to me, and how I just loved pressing against him. I remember the first guy that went down on me and gave me orgasms from the pure joy and pleasure he was getting from going down on me.
Oof.
And how hot that was. I remember finding, locating, and de-armoring my G-spot, and how I would, when my partner would do that work on me, I would cackle like a witch. I would make sounds like a freight train coming through the bedroom. I would cry and sob, and I would know that what I was doing was going through a portal, and that would not be what my continued experience would be. And then I ended up in bliss and total release of my divine nectars, and loved just the letting go and the making a mess and the claiming of space and the allowing of that level of sensation. I remember standing metaphorically on the edge of a precipice, on a little ledge of dark granite, like schist, the deepest, darkest rock at the bottom of the core of the earth. But I was in outer space, and I was standing there, and I was coming so well and so long and with such ease. But I knew there was more, and I was afraid to step off, wondering if I could come back from the level of pleasure I was experiencing. And I called my mentor, Dr. Patty Taylor, who taught me the expanded orgasm practice. And she said, step off.
Yep.
Go. Let go. I let go, and that's the first time I felt my connection to source in my life in a palpable, visceral way. And that was when I realized, oh, sexual repression is because we can actually get there ourselves, and we can find God without a church. Church for community is wonderful, but church to oppress us is not.
Like doctrine. Yeah.
And exactly. And that moment was literally when I became the orgasmonaut, the woman who took the practices of my mentor and said, how many ways can I orgasm? And I started an orgasmic expansion practice where I started documenting the steps to all of the different ways that I could come, and basically writing and counting them up. There's over 20 that I've had now. Locations to touch, techniques to use, and objects of desire are kind of the categories that I have explored. And it's just incredible that the human body operating system has unlimited orgasmic potential. So I've been having these, and then I've had the entheogenic experiences, those kind, the group experiences, being in play parties or in group dynamics that are just incredibly beautiful and soulful. So many kinds of things, even just like being 57 years old or whatever I was, and finally getting really good at riding cowgirl and giving myself orgasms rather than expecting my partner to do the work with their penis. I was just taking my pleasure on them and they were loving that
Yeah.
and feeling so solid about that, or like finally getting to the point where I loved having anal pleasuring and realized it's an entirely different, beautiful experience. And,
Yeah.
it's like there's always more. There's
Always
even more
more.
beyond that. There's so many incredible experiences that we can solo generate and co-create that give us this beautiful cognitive function, this incredible vascular health, this incredible cascade of hormones, this immune function, this heart opening, this connection to other, this just like rebooting your nervous system. I mean, even a good orgasm releases natural killer cells, NK cells. They're now culturing NK cells in labs, just like they're culturing stem cells, either our own, like I've harvested my own stem cells, and now I have them grown out and I inject them and I take IVs of them and when I have various issues or what have you. But natural killer cells are the ones that eat our senescent cells, our zombie cells, the broken and decaying and precancerous cells in our body bag. And when we can get rid of those through fasting, it's autophagy, fasting, and things like that, we are able to have much more mitochondrial function, which is the batteries that power our joy, our energy through life. Like I'm basically an energy devotee. I chase energy, sexual energy, life energy, passion, fuel, whatever you want, mitochondrial function. All of the facets of energy are what I like.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for tuning in, lovers. And if you want to experience more ecstasy and sexual liberation, head over to sexlovepsychedelics.com and learn about how you can join me for any one of my online or live events. And while you're there, grab my free guide on sex and psychedelics. Remember, this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please contact your healthcare provider and local law before pursuing any of the products or psychedelics discussed. And one final note here. I make this show specifically for you. If you're loving the show, then be sure to leave me a review in iTunes or Spotify to let me know. Happy to be here and happy to serve. I'll see you next time on Sex Love Psychedelics.